working on our CEP portfolio wasn't without its hiccups, especially at the beginning. We had a little bit of trouble delegating who would do what. We had trouble figuring out how would be the best way to contact everyone. So our segment 1 and 2 of our CEP portfolio didn't go very smoothly, but I am proud of myself and the rest of our group on how we managed to work out the kinks near the end, and I'm really happy with how our final project is turning out, and I loved working with my group this semester. I worked with some wonderful people, and I believe that we created quality work because of it. Starting with segment 1, we all created our own case study. So we obviously each did our own. So I did my own part. Moving on to segment 2, me and another group member worked together on the AIM checklist. So that was my part in segment 2. For segment 3 of the digital book collection, when we had to go back and do the digital book collection because we misunderstood it the first time, I took the role in analyzing the Nook digital collection. And also for the digital book that we created, we all took part in writing the basic storyline, and then I went back at the end and made sure that we had everything according to the rubric. I looked over it. That was segment 3. And then in segment 4, I took over the UDL reading lesson plan. I chose a reading lesson plan already online, and I redid it to more UDL standards and included assistive technology in that. Overall, I loved this project. I loved how much we learned, and again, how well we all worked together. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, so for our CEP portfolio, I think for the most part we worked well. There was some communication issues, but by the end of it, we all were able to work really well and create some really quality work. I think just having the only method of communication of a Facebook group didn't really work out well because I don't get notifications for that to my phone, and I'm not always on my computer, obviously, and so that was sort of problematic. For the first part, we all created our own case study. We were all graded separately on that as one piece. Segment 2, I happened to miss the class that day where we delegated the roles for that part, and I was told to complete the part reflection, which I had intended to do. I knew it wasn't due until like midnight on a Monday or something, and it was like 8:30, and I had just gotten out of class, and another group member had decided to do it herself, so I was sort of wiped out from that portion, not by my choice, obviously. So I tried to take a bigger role in the next couple parts. Segment 3, we all played a role in coming up with the storyline that we discussed on the day of class that we received work time. I personally uploaded the photos for the digital book, and then helped create tags and definition support for the book. And then for the collection portion, we all created our own, or analyzed our own digital book collection. Mine was the International Children's Digital Library. And then in class, we came up with the 5 criteria together. For segment 4, I wrote the reflection and the wrap-up for all 3 of the lesson plans. And it was sort of long, so I think I did pretty well on that. Overall, I think we did a pretty good job. This definitely was a lot of work. I don't think that I would have been able to handle it all myself, so I'm thankful for group members in that aspect. And thank you for this class. It was great.
I take it in, but don't look down.
In CEP 452, we were responsible for different types of group work that required us to work in groups and also do individual assignments. For the first assignment, we were responsible for creating a case study, all that we did individually. For the second UDL segment, I and myself and Shannon were responsible for the AIM checklist, and Katie and Rebecca did the PAR studies, and Sarah wrote the reflection for that assignment. For the third segment of the UDL portfolio, we all worked together to create the digital book. Most of our class time was dedicated to the digital book, and also, we were responsible for doing the digital book collection, but unfortunately misunderstood the assignment and would have to redo it later in our revisions. For the fourth segment, the UDL lesson plans, we again split up the tasks, and I was responsible for the social studies portion. And Shannon and Rebecca also did a lesson plan, and Katie and Sarah were responsible for the video and reflection for that portion. Overall, I thought we worked really well as a group. We were able to utilize different types of technology such as Google Docs, Facebook, and I think that these were really helpful in aiding in our group work and making sure that we were using our time wisely and we knew exactly what we should have been doing. I know group work can sometimes be difficult, but I think the way that we went about it was the best way for this course, and I really enjoyed the group members that I worked with, and I think it was a really good learning experience, and everything I learned from this course I will definitely benefit from in the future.
For CEP, we were given both group work and individual work, the majority of it being group work, which made it difficult. I think that at this point in our college career, we all have sports and jobs and very different schedules. So at the beginning, we really struggled to match up those schedules with due dates and ways that we would hold each other accountable. But once we worked out the communication glitches, I think that we did a really good job creating some quality work. I know that some of these projects were a lot of work, so I don't think that we could have done it on our own. So it was really helpful once we figured out how to communicate well, to have a group, to delegate the work out. In the first UDL assignment, we each worked on our own individual case studies, which was interesting, and I think that we benefited from being in the group and doing our own individual work so that we could think of our own ideas, but then we could collaborate and get group support and other ideas from people who may have had different experiences than us. In the second part, in the PAR studies, I helped Rebecca and we worked together in class and a little bit outside of class to finalize those PAR studies while Julia and Shannon worked on the AIM checklist. For the third one, I wasn't in class the day that the digital book collection or the storyboard was assigned, so the girls worked on the storyline and I talked to each one of them individually and got their feelings and experience from the book and wrote a paper. Unfortunately, we didn't understand the digital book collection part of the assignment very well, so we each went back and redid part of that. So I did a digital book collection reflection on iBooks. Finally, for the fourth UDL project, I created a SiteLighter tutorial. I found a UDL application that was really helpful, and I created a tutorial video for teachers and parents to use. Overall, I had a really good experience with this class. I really am going to use the knowledge that I've gotten. There's a lot of resources out there that I'm excited to learn about, but this class has given me a really good start for that.
During CEP, I was paired with 4 other girls, and we all worked together to collectively make our UDL portfolio. During the portfolio, we kind of struggled with coming up with a way to equally split all of the duties because we had 5 people, so it was really difficult to make everything equal. But we managed to do it pretty well, I think. So on my part, for the first portion, we all did our own case study. And then for the second portion, I was in charge of doing one of the case studies and then also in charge of doing the reflection for the whole process. For the third UDL, I was in charge of creating all of the extra text for our UDL book. and making all of the helpful hints during the book itself. I also was responsible for making the book collection with Sarah and Julia, and we all worked together to kind of compile a bunch of individual books. We ended up actually redoing that whole process, and so then since we needed 5 book collections, each of us analyzed one specific book collection. And then as for the 4th part, I was responsible for coming up with a writing lesson and analyzing the writing lesson. In addition to that, I also created the website, our Weebly website, and I've been uploading and adding everything to that. I know that Katie has done a little bit of work on the Weebly as well. But overall, our group worked pretty well together, and we managed to make things very equal and distribute all of the work pretty evenly, which was really nice. And I think that our UDL portfolio will come in handy in the future, and it will definitely be nice to have this, website that we can all use and look back at on different lesson plans and all of that stuff. So that was my portion of the UDL portfolio, and that was it.
Take you with me as I can. You're dreaming of this.